Division 6, Audrey Miller.
Here.
Division 5, Robert Harris. Rob. George Lane.
Here.
Division 1, Shelley Sourceable.
Here.
Division 3, Frank Donato.
Here.
Division 2, Keith Dyas.
Here.
Dwayne Chisholm.
Here.
Tilden Kim.
Here.
And Holly Hughes present.
Thank you. Item 3, voluntary roll call, public roll call. If any member of the public wishes to introduce themselves, please feel free to do so now.
Vincent Dino, Palmdale Water District.
Hi, Vincent.
How you doing?
Hi, John.
Hello, this is Vicki Roush with the Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District.
Thank you, Vicki. If there are no others, we will move along to item 4, public comments and period open to the public. If anyone wishes to address the board on any item that is not on the agenda, please feel free to do so now.
Hi, this is Vicki Roush again. I would just like to make the board aware that the Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District is now launching our lawn reduction rebate program, and we are offering $1 a square foot for lawn removed. We also have plants available from our nursery and design assistance, and we will soon be having our designs available. So if you want to know more information, you can see our website or contact me.
Thank you, Vicki. That's great news. Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move along to item 5. Do I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
This is Director Miller. I'll move to adopt the agenda.
Thank you.
This is Director Sourceable. I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam.
Yes.
Audrey Miller.
Yes.
Robert Harris.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And that's a yes? George Lane.
Yes.
Shelley Sourceable. Thank you. Frank Donato.
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes.
Yes, the measure passes. Thank you. Item 6, new business. 6A1, resolution number R22-09, honoring Joe Goulet's 38 years of service upon retirement. And we have a resolution to read. Resolution R2209, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency honoring Joe Goulet on his retirement from the agency. Whereas Mr. Joe Goulet, at the tender age of 22, was hired as an operator trainee, and whereas Mr. Goulet, through hard work, sacrifice, and dedication, advanced to the positions of operator, lead operator, superintendent, and assistant manager of operations. And whereas Mr. Goulet, while serving the public faithfully for 33 years, also raised 2 fine sons with his devoted wife. And whereas Mr. Goulet set a standard of excellence at the agency that will serve as an inspiration to all of those that follow. And whereas Mr. Goulet has, through much personal sacrifice, left the agency in much better operational condition than it was 33 years ago. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors and all agency employees wish Joe a well-earned retirement with time to travel with Christine to their favorite destinations, spend time with their sons and new grandson, and finally, to perfect that golf game. Now, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
This is Director Donato. I'll move that we approve 6A1, honoring Joe 30 years of superior service upon his retirement.
I tried.
You can second it, George.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Harris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Forcible,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Congratulations, Joe, and if there is anything you would like to say to us, you have the floor.
Yeah, you can look this way.
Well, we wish you better. Oh, yes. Hi, Joe.
On the camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whoever wrote that, should be a fiction writer. So, thanks, John. Thanks, President Dyas. Appreciate that. Appreciate the board spending time for this tonight. My tenure here at AVEK, the board was always fair to the employees, and I think as an employee, that's all we could ask of the board of directors, and so I appreciate that. I know probably other employees appreciate it as well, so thank you for that. Because I did spend so much time and years here at AVEK, I did have a chance to work with a bunch of really, really good people. I want to mention a few of them. A few of them have retired. A few names that come to mind is past General Manager Russ Fuller, past Manager of Operations Guy Smith. I really respected both of those guys. They really showed the devotion to AVEK that truly were. I think John and myself and other employees really saw that, and they really took to that. Another name comes to mind is my first supervisor, Doug Patterson. I worked for him at the Eastside plant for 15 years. Again, Doug was very, very devoted to AVEK. Nicest guy in the world. Taught me a lot about being a water treatment operator and AVEK itself. And Doug was a funny guy, and he'd give you a shirt off his back. So really enjoyed working for Doug. And then I, just recently, didn't retire, but Mike Flood, assistant general manager. What a good guy. Again, very devoted guy to AVEK, and very funny as well. I guess that runs through AVEK. A lot of humor here at AVEK. People, we enjoy each other. We like ribbing each other, and Mike was one of the best at it. So, anyways, I really enjoyed Mike. There's plenty of others that retired or since left AVEK, but those four really come to mind. And then, of course, the people I had worked with recently, all these people in this room: John, Teresa, Pam, Tom, Gordon, Justin, Matt, and Dwayne. Dwayne, you there? He's on the line. He is on the computer.
I muted him.
I muted him. Okay. Yeah, so we're again, really good group of people. Again, great sense of humor. Tom is one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. Teresa's got a wicked sense of humor, so I really enjoy all those folks. And then, everyone that works for AVEK, from the lab staff to operations and maintenance folks, to the sports staff and Patty and Tatiana and Angel next door, just all really good people. AVEK, I consider the AVEK kind of the crown jewel of a public agency here in the Valley. And when you think about it, it's really the people that make it that way. And AVEK has really, really good people working for them. The board should be proud of that. And I'm very proud to be part of that. Well, couple more things quickly. Special thanks to John. I don't know if you all know that John and I came in same year, in 1989. Now, I was thinking back, John, is what was going on in 89 when we came in. And it's hard to believe, but President Reagan had just left office. We we got here. That's hard to believe. I miss that guy.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah, we do too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, anyways, so during my years, I spent about half my years working with John, and the other half working for him. I consider him not only my supervisor but my friend, and learned a lot from him. He was always willing to listen to my nonsense whenever I had some, which was often, and he's very patient with me. And anyways, thanks, John. I really appreciate it. You did a great job. And the good news, he told me he's going to spend another decade here at AVEK.
Good.
I guess I got
Yeah.
Then finally, I just want to thank my wife. I had not met her yet when I started at AVEK, believe it or not. Now we have a grandson and a granddaughter on the way, so life rolls on. Over my time here, she put up with a lot of leaving dinners early for something going on, water quality or operational problem or something, and late nights, early mornings, phone calls. We'd be on vacation, and I may physically be there, but mentally I was probably thinking something going on at work. But she put up with that, never once complained. So couldn't ask for a better wife, and I love you. And thank you for putting up with me. And thank you for supporting me for these last 33 years. And I guess really I need to really be nice to you because you're going to be supporting me now for a while. So anyway, so that's all I have to say. I appreciate the time here, and I'm just down the road. So if you guys need anything, just let me know. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and good luck to you.
Mr. President, I have a couple of comments on Director
Yes,
Lane.
please. Yes.
But Joe's time, I can relate. I've been in the agency for many, many years, and in Joe's knowledge, commitment, and dedication to the agency has been well known by the board of directors, for a number of years. And you'd be very hard to replace, probably irreplaceable. And I also know some of the meetings we've sat in a few times with the finance committee. You have a lot of knowledge in finance and business, and so I think that didn't come easy, and that's appreciated. And I'm sure whatever you're going to do from now on, you'll do very good. But the agency very much appreciates your 33 years and the dedication in this day and age. It's so important. But thank you, Joe.
Well said, Director Lane. Okay, we'll move along to item 7, consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent calendar?
Also move, Mr. President.
It's a check. Second.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Parrish, George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sorcible,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes, but I don't. How many voted? 5?
6. I just didn't hear back from Rob.
Okay.
Shelley, this is Rob. I voted yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks.
Okay, item 8A, High Desert Water Bank Committee. Director Donato, do you have a report?
Yes, we do. Director Donato, would you like me to present on the High Desert Water Bank Committee report here?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and get started?
Okay.
Can we take just one minute right
Okay.
there?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we were just saying goodbye to Joe.
Oh, well, why don't you tell, I had no, oh, okay.
Okay, we can proceed.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, directors. Good evening, President Dyas and members of the board. This is Engineering Manager Justin Lipsay to provide the monthly update on our High Desert Water Bank project.
Can you wait a second, Justin?
Oh,
I don't
yes.
see anything on our screen.
How about everybody else? Can you see the screen?
Now I can, yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to start off with, Director Donato, before I get into the report?
No, but I want to go ahead and give it,
But I'm kidding.
case visuals helps out. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. This is our monthly board report for the High Desert Water Bank. We've got our typical program here to go through. I will start off. Section 1, the project objective, just to remind all the members of the public as well as the board of directors, the objectives of the project to develop the High Desert Water Bank, to improve the reliability of the state water project deliveries. The goal is to recharge up to 70,000 acre feet per year with a recovery capacity of the same, with direct pump back to the state water project, and an overall storage goal of 280,000 acre feet. On the right-hand side of this slide, you can see the map of the project, which is 300th Street West to the west, 280th Street West on the east, Avenue A on the north, and the California Aqueduct as the southern boundary of the project site. You can see a few features highlighted on that map there, such as our existing pilot recovery wells, which were drilled last year, as well as the monitoring well there in red, the location of the new turnout, which is just about to start construction, and the purple indicates parcels owned by Cajon Ranch. On the left-hand side, you can see the short-term goals that we aim to complete over the next 3 months. Any continuing necessary land acquisitions for the project site, begin construction on the aqueduct turnout. That project's been awarded to Blois Construction, so they're well on their way to moving that forward, as well as beginning drilling of the next 6 recovery wells on the project site. That was awarded to Bakersfield Well and Pump recently, and again, they're well on their way to getting going on that project. And then finally, the 4th item down would be to award the construction contracts for the recharge basins and pipeline, which has recently been put out to bid. Here we see an overall summary of our project management team. At the top, of course, we have AVEK, and then down below we have a host of sub-consultants who are helping us with this project. We have Kennedy Jenks in the roles of program manager as well as construction management. We have Stantec as the engineering design and hydrogeology lead. And you can see under the construction bullet second from the right, you can see we have Blois and Bakersfield Well and Pump working on the construction projects, as well as our legal team, and of course, on the far left-hand side, our project partner, Metropolitan Water District. Down below, you can see some of the recent activity of our program manager, Kennedy Jenks. So they reviewed and analyzed the gravity-only recharge design phasing, which we recently implemented.
as well as commenting on the last amendment to Stantec's contract, which was awarded last month. They continue to participate in our discussions with Southern California Edison, as well as updating Metropolitan Water District, as well as our design team and construction progress meetings and overall project support. On the right-hand side, you can see some upcoming board decisions and actions. Once the land negotiations and purchases on the top there, and then down below, as I mentioned, we have our recharge basins and pipeline project out to bid. So pretty soon we'll be coming to the board to award the construction contract for that, as well as supporting contracts from Stantec to support the bidding and construction of that project as well, and the construction management needed for that project under a task order with Kennedy James. And then finally, item E there is on the agenda for the board to consider tonight, which is a wastewater research proposal to prepare an operation, maintenance, replacement, and management recovery cost tracking and reporting plan. And Assistant General Manager Knudsen will have more on that towards the end of this presentation. Section 3 is engineering and field work. So what the design team has been working on, they are continuing to work on updates to the groundwater model based on some of the data collected during the drilling of the 4 pilot recovery wells from 2021. The recharge basin design has been completed, and that phased recharge package using a gravity-only system has been put out to bid. That's bullet points 2 and 3 on this slide. Stantec is working to analyze some costs and options, as well as the timeline for an early pump back program. We know that the hydrology is looking pretty grim right now, very little rain expected. So we're looking into an early pump back option for the High Desert Water Bank on behalf of Metropolitan Water District. And they've been coordinating with Southern California Edison on our power options for the High Desert Water Bank site. Moving into the construction section, we have from Kennedy Jenks, our construction manager, Tien Ng, on the line. And at this point in time, I will turn it over to Tien to handle the next couple slides here. Tien, go for it.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Justin. Hi, good evening, presidents, directors. My name is Tien. I'm the construction manager. And this evening here, we have 2 construction projects to update. The first one is the aqueduct turn-in project. As you know, the contractor is Boyce. And then down here, we have the updates. First of all, the project's been awarded, and the AVEK has issued a notice to proceed that's complete. And the contractor have submitted a schedule, and based on the schedule, they painted out a roadmap that between March and April, they're going to be very focused on getting all the equipment, all the materials, the pipe, shop drawings submitted to the record engineers, and to get them approved before they order the equipment. So let me come back and talk about shop drawings. What is a shop drawing? A shop drawing is, for example, let's use the steel pipe. This project here, we have an 84-inch steel pipe, probably about 200 feet long. So before the manufacturer and the contractor can start manufacturing that pipe, they have to submit documentation such as where is this pipe's going to lay, what is the layout going to look like, and how is it going to slope, what is the material and what type of steel and how thick you're going to manufacture them. During manufacturing, what is your manufacturer's quality control? What standard are you going to use? Are you going to comply with, for example, AWWA 200? All those information have to be packaged in, submitted through us, and we will review the completeness of it and then forward to the record engineer, in this case is Stantec, for them to review to make sure that they comply with what they did for what we call the contract documents. So that will be going on until April 29th. And then in this project here, there's one key submittal that we touch about, especially Committee Chair Donato mentioned about the DWR encroachment permit. That is the most important. Without that encroachment permit, the contractor physically cannot get onto the DWR site. The good news is last Wednesday they submitted that. That submittal is about 400 pages long, and our record engineer, Stan Tech, is going through that right now. So from this roadmap here, it looks like the contractor employees probably will most likely not be full-time on site until the early part of June. The first thing that they're going to work on, of course, is the aqueduct turn in. Right now, they're planning to start it on July 18. However, if they can get the encroachment permit sooner, they'll probably be on site sooner. Justin, next slide, please. So this is followed by the meter vault that the contractor will have to construct and the control building. So those look like they're going to be going on mostly about the same time, especially the meter vault and the aqueduct structure. It's all going to start in June through November, and the control building is a month behind it through the end of November. So by September, this 84-inch steel pipe will be on site. They'll be ready for it. It will take them a little bit over a month to be able to accomplish that. So in a nutshell, from June through the end of November, there'll be a lot of activities on site for the contractor to finish. And then in October, the contractor will focusing on site work such as fencing, gates, grading, and final paving for the project. And right now, we're planning on starting up and testing those structures between the later part of November through early December, and the project is going to finish December 12th. So before I move on to the next project, I'm going to stop for a moment to see if directors and AVEK staff, do you have any questions for me tonight? So hearing none, Justin, can you move on to the next project? Yeah. So the next project is High Desert Water Bank Well Drilling Package 2. As Justin mentioned, the contractor is Zim Industries, also called Bakersfield Well and Pump Company. And the project was awarded February 23rd, and the notice to proceed was issued March 21st. The contractor has submitted a preliminary schedule, and they basically planning to use 2 drill rigs to finish the project. And they have submitted a schedule indicating that they're going to try to finish before the project completion date of December 6th. However, they are still waiting for the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health permits to drill those 6 wells. So far, there have been a little bit going back and forth communications between the contractors and the Department of Public Health, and hopefully shortly they'll get the permit, and then the contractor will firm up the schedule and we'll get a final schedule to do that. But in the meantime, this contractor here, he means business right now. He's not sitting there and waiting. He has been very aggressively preparing shop drawings to submit. To date, he has submitted. They have submitted 14 shop drawings, so they're well past the halfway point in that category. So unfortunately, both the 2 projects, they're not on site yet. We don't have any picture at this point. We're hoping that in the next coming months, we'll have pictures and we'll share it with the board in our next update.
All right, thank you, Tien. Are there any questions for Tien on the progress of the construction to date? Now,
This is Director Donato. That was a good report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tien. Good job. Let's see. I lost control here for a moment. Here we go. Moving on now to the contracts that the agency has entered into for the High Desert Water Bank. You can see the 3 contracts related to Kennedy Jenks, program management at the top, and then the construction management for the 2 construction projects that Tian just provided an update on. You can see their contract amounts as well as the payout to date on those projects. Following that is Stantec for their engineering design build work. That's their next, followed by the 2 contractors we have working on site. We're getting ready to go on site shortly. Beloit and Bakersfield Well and Pump, the awarded contract amounts for each of those construction projects. And then the final 3 are completed projects. The Pacific Coast well drilling, they did the 4 wells in 2021, and they are finished and off-site. And then the 2 at the bottom are related to the CEQA addendum, which was completed last year as well. This may be a little bit tough to see, but this is the capital program account established for paying for the capital costs of the High Desert Water Bank. And you can see a running summary of the account activity on there. Kind of takeaway is the balance in that account of $4,127,000 or so listed there. And on the far right-hand column, you can see the deposits that have been provided to us, reimbursing us for costs that incurred on the project from Metropolitan Water District. And just to remind everyone, Metropolitan is paying 100% of the capital cost
of this project. So you can see the amounts that they contributed to that point. And we did recently just invoice them for another about 1.1 million on this project to replenish that account as well. Getting into schedule, you can see the top half of this is the completed tasks. A lot of red stars on there. The red stars indicate board actions. The board has been very busy over the last 3 or 4 months in helping move this project forward. You can see a host of things, contracts, and construction projects awarded by the board of directors. The blue star there is a staff item, but that was authorized by the board to put the recharge package out to bid. That occurred on April 8th. So that is out to bid. We are getting interest on that, which is good. And then you can see the small triangle at the top indicating today's date. Maybe that's actually, looks like I didn't update the date on that. Apologize for that. But today we're looking at consideration of the West Water Research contract I mentioned earlier. And Assistant General Manager Knudsen has that on the following slide. And then looking forward into May, we have the 3 items I mentioned at the beginning, which are approval of Stantec's amendment and Kennedy Jenks's task order for construction management, both of those related to the award of the Recharge Basin construction project. And the due dates for those bids is May 17th. So that'll be coming up in about a month or so. And I believe that's all I have before turning it over to Assistant General Manager Knudsen. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this point. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks.
Director Donato, would you like to introduce this item?
Yeah, so, we're going to discuss 882. Consider possible action for O, M, and R and management costs systems for the High Desert Water Bank, not to exceed $19,890. And Matt, why don't you give us a little bit of an overview for the rest of the directors?
Okay, great. Thank you, Director Donato. Good evening. This is Matt Knudsen, Assistant GM for AVEK. So a little background, included in your packet on page 52 is a brief staff report. And attached to that staff report is the proposal from West Water Research that we're going to be seeking approval from the board this evening on. So as part of our 2019 agreement with Metropolitan Water District for not only the construction of the High Desert Water Bank, but it also talks about ongoing operation, maintenance, and repair costs, as well as management costs associated with operating the bank. So as part of that agreement, Metropolitan is to reimburse AVEK 100% of our operation, maintenance, and repair or replacement costs associated with the bank. That includes labor, overhead rates, equipment use, materials that are used on the site, and including electrical costs associated with operating the recovery wells. So each year we have to submit an estimate of what the annual cost is going to be for operation, maintenance, and repair to Metropolitan. Those costs are trued up at the end of each calendar year. So we reached out to Westwater Research, who helped the agency develop the original agreement with Metropolitan Water District, and seek a proposal to assist the agency in putting together a plan and a document that will help us ensure that the agency is recouping 100% of our internal costs associated with operating the bank. So that's what this proposal includes, is a scope of services, timeline, and budget for Westwater Research to assist AVEK in developing a plan to track and report the estimated as well as the actual OM and R management costs associated with the bank per the 2019 agreement with Metropolitan Water District. So the recommendation, this was reviewed with the High Desert Water Bank Committee. Both staff and the committee members are recommending that the board accept the proposal from Westwater Research in the not to exceed amount of $19,890 and authorize the general manager to execute that agreement. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
If there are no questions, can I have a motion to approve Board Order 8A2?
This is Director Donato. I'll move on 8A2 that we approve the $19,890 to do the cost management for the High Desert Water Bank.
Do we have a second?
This is Director Sourceable. I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sourceable,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Thank you for the presentations.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Chairman Donato. Item 8B, Public Information Committee. Chairman Lane, do you have a report?
Yes, we do, and I'm going to ask Matt if we would proceed with that.
Okay, thank you, Director Lane. So one item that came out of the recent Public Information Committee that met last week is a presentation and a board action to accept and file the 2021 annual water quality reports for both LA County and Kern County. So at the committee, we went through the presentation prepared by Lab Manager Jordan Ray, who's here this evening. And in your board packet on page 58 is a staff report and a copy of the annual water quality reports that the lab staff prepares and distributed to our customers. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jordan Ray, who has a brief presentation to go through the good results from our water quality. Take it away, Jordan.
Good evening, board members. I'm going to go over a little background of the requirements and then a summary of the findings. So I'll start with some background on the requirements. The 1996 Safe Drinking Water Act amendments mandated that drinking water providers prepare and distribute a consumer confidence report, and then this rule took effect in 1998. So since we're a wholesaler, we don't have to prepare a full CCR like most retail water suppliers. This requires them to prepare more material for their customers, such as multiple languages and historical data. Public water systems have to prepare and distribute their CCRs by July 1st. And since they include our data in their reports, we like to complete our annual water quality report ahead of time. And then this provides them plenty of time to meet their deadline. So we have to prepare 2 separate annual water quality reports. We do one for Kern County and one for LA County. The completed reports are either emailed or a hard copy mailed to our customers. And then we are required to complete a certification form. It states that we did good faith efforts to deliver the reports. And then we also make the reports available on our website for easy access for our customers. It's located under the Your Water Quality tab and then Water Quality. And then finally, we have to upload the report to the State Water Resources Control Board drink portal. So moving on to some water quality results. In 2021, we had no coliform treatment technique triggers or E. coli MCL violations in the BACT samples from our distribution system. Also, 100% of our monthly samples met EPA turbidity performance standards. We satisfied the EPA groundwater rule for minimum chlorine residual leaving our clear well, and then this applies to our water banks. And then finally, we met all state and federal requirements for VOCs, SOCs, radiologicals, and inorganic contaminants. So next we have some tables for our Kern and LA County disinfection residuals, precursors, and treatment byproducts. So all results fall well under the limits set by the state. As you can see on the graph, the chlorine MCL is 4 ppm, and then averages for both counties were just above 1 parts per million. Also, bromate, a disinfection byproduct, had a highest running annual average of 0.82 ppb, and the MCL is 10 parts per billion. So lastly, we have a graph of THM locational running annual averages, and operations did a really great job last year keeping these low. So internally, AVEK sets a goal of 64 ppb for our customers, and that provides them a 20% buffer for their own compliance. So the highest running annual average we had at any location this year was 50 micrograms per liter. And then we finished the year with maximum running annual averages of 20 micrograms per liter in the Kern County system, and then 41 micrograms per liter in our LA County system. So that concludes my report. I'll take any questions if you guys have any.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I think what staff is looking for is a motion and a second and a vote to accept and file the 2021 annual report for LA and Kern counties.
Director Lane also move, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, this is Rob. I will second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? If not, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sorcible,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Thank you very much for the great report. And it shows that everyone has contributed to these excellent water quality results. Next, item 9, General Manager's Report. Matt?
Yes, good evening. I'm going to cover the GM report for Mr. Chisholm. He is on the line, but he may have some audio problems. So what we're going to start doing is part of the GM report is have various department managers give updates to the board on a monthly basis. And we'll kind of rotate that between engineering, operations, water quality, HR, etc. And we thought we'd start with engineering department this month, giving an update on a couple of ongoing capital improvement projects. So Justin will start this portion off, and then I'll conclude with the GM report.
Sounds good. Thank you, Matt, and good evening again, members of the board. As Matt mentioned, we've got 2 construction projects going on right now. I will start with our West Side Water Bank Recharge Pipelines Improvement Project. To get everyone oriented, I've got a map here. So you can see, I'll use my cursor here. The red box here is the Quartzville Water Treatment Plant. It's well as where our administration building is here in Palmdale. And out here near 140th Street West and West Avenue B is the location of our West Side Water Bank. You can see where that is. So we've got a project that went out to public bid and was awarded to Nicholas Construction to install permanent recharge pipelines and discharge structures at our West Side Water Bank. Materials for that project have been delivered to the site over the last couple of months, and Nicholas Construction broke ground in early April to begin actually installing pipe out there. This project is anticipated to be completed within the next 4 months or so, and they are off to a very good start. They've installed probably 3,000 or 4,000 linear feet of pipe just in the last about 10 days or so. So they're making very good progress. And I've just got some photos from the field. So here you can see some of their equipment. This is when they very first mobilized out to the site. There's some pipe laying in the trench that they've dug there. You can see the construction worker in the background there. We've got some 30-inch cement water-lined and coated steel pipeline. And some more pictures from the field. You can see, obviously, we had some very windy weather earlier this week and late last week, and you can see the dust blowing around, but really hasn't hindered their progress at all. They're continuing to work, which is good. You can see a long stretch of pipeline laying there ready for backfill. We do have a construction manager, MC Engineering. They were also the engineer of record for this project. They're out in the field with them every day, making sure that the project's being built according to our specifications and plans. Another photo here of a pipe getting ready to be laid into the ditch. And a really cool aerial photo that our engineering tech went out with the drone on a calm day and took this photo from the air. It's that snippet of the video, but pretty cool. It gives you a bird's eye view of a lot of the activity going on out there. Lastly, we do have our poppies out in bloom, and so the construction manager on site took a moment to take a picture of the poppies in bloom out there. So if you haven't been out there, you can take a drive. Probably not on a windy day, but so that's going really well. That's pretty much it. Just have some photos from the field, and we will continue to update the board on this construction project as we move forward. But so far, everything's going good. They're ahead of schedule, actually, at this point in time. Any questions on that project before I move on to the next one? All right. Lastly here, I'm going to go through some photos again of our blending intertie at the Roseman Water Treatment Plant. This would allow us to bring recovered, banked State Water Project water from our West Side Water Bank into the Roseman Water Treatment Plant's clear well reservoir and blend down for water quality purposes in the clear well there, which we don't have the ability to do just yet. This project was out to public bid and awarded to WM Lyles to install that blending vault. The vault and piping has all been completed, so most of the physical work is nearly done. We've got a little bit of electrical work to be complete before they're ready for testing and programming by AVEK's programmers. So that's very close to being done. Expect that to be completed within the next month. Per billing, they're about 75% of the way completed, but actual work in the field is probably closer to 85 or 90%. So we just haven't received their most recent invoice yet, but that project is going very well. You can see here a photo from the front of our water treatment plant, as well as the sign on the left-hand side. This project did get Prop 1 grant funding. $350,000 went towards this project, to the design and construction. So part of the requirements from our grant was that we put a sign out indicating that this project was paid, at least in part, due to grant funding from the Department of Water Resources. So got a very nice sign out there. If you happen to drive by, you can take a look. And then photos from the field, you can see the Clearwell Reservoir, circular structure. I get my mouse to work right here in the background. And then this is where the pump station is that would take the recovered banked water from the West Side Water Bank and send it out to our customers in Kern County, as well as the surge tank here. So that blending vault is being installed right here. And there's an existing pipeline that they cut into to install this flow control and metering vault. that would allow us to meter and control flows into the Clearwell Reservoir there. You can see they had a large crane to set the vault. It's a fairly large vault. And they brought a crane in and they set that vault in place in 3 separate phases. There's the lower portion setting in the ground. You can see they're shoring in place. And then there's another angle of that same vault. You can see the hole in the wall right here where one side of the pipe would come through, and there's another one that's kind of hidden here, but where the other side would come through. There it is, completely in the ground with the surrounding soil backfilled, and the workers down in the bottom of the vault putting in the pipes that run through it, as well as the clay valve, flow control valves, and some isolation valves and the flow meters. This is just showing the remaining work that really they have to do is the electrical work. So they've got this trench going over towards the pump station building where they're going to complete their electrical connections. You can see some conduit laying in the trench there. And maybe that's my final slide, I guess. That is it for the construction updates for those 2 projects. Both of them are going very well. One of them is nearly completed, and the other one we've got a few months to go. But everything's going really good. These are going to be really good projects that are really be helpful for our operations staff.
What's the total cost?
For this blending vault, the total bid price of this was $571,050 in grant funding includes that project. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, turn it back over to Matt.
Thank you, Justin. So now we'll proceed with the normal updates. So first slide here is our 10-day precipitation outlook, a forecast for the Feather Basin region. You can see mostly cloudy with a chance of snow tonight through Saturday. A little bit of precipitation that you can see on the right for next 10 days, about 3.4 inches. Snow level is fairly low next couple days, down to 2,000 feet. So we hope to get some measurable snow up there. Probably won't be enough to make a dent in the allocation of our table A, but every bit helps. Next slide, we've all seen this. This is the 8-station index for the current water year. As you recall, we had a killer October and December as far as precipitation, well above the average. The average are those dark blue lines. And for the months of January through current, yes, as you know, we're well below average on precipitation within this 8-station index. Here's a graph of Lake Oroville conditions and San Luis conditions within the State Water Project system. A little closer look at the Lake Oroville conditions, currently 1.7 million acre-feet storage. It's 48% of total capacity and about 66% of historical average.
Hey, Matt?
So yes?
The Director Donato, can you go back one slide?
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing here, how are they, if we don't get any rain, big stuff up north, the San Luis will be dry. What are they going? We're talking. This is just middle of April, and we don't get any real rain in the north until fall sometime. So, is there going to be rationing or something?
So, as you can see there, we're currently for this time of year, we're 54% of average. The red line is the average. The blue bar, you can see that's where we're currently at, and that's 54% of the average. So all the water that's planned to be delivered to meet the 5% allocation for the State Water Project contractors, as well as the health and safety, is already accounted for in San Luis. So that's how they can allocate the 5% plus the health and safety water.
But they're basing that on weather conditions. So if it's
No, I think that's based if there's no more inflow into San Luis, they have enough in there to meet the 5%, any carryover water, and the health and safety. So any bit of precipitation and additional inflow from this point on is just going to help the state water project.
What about evaporation? I'm just saying, if we had extended heat waves that come in, it could drop that considerably.
Yeah, they take into account evaporation, not only San Luis Reservoir, but throughout the state water project system. Because evaporation occurring within the canal as well as the reservoir. So that's a good question, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
So back to this graph, we went through this detail of Lake Oroville, historical averages over the course of a year as far as level and capacity. And that blue line in the graph on the right shows where we're currently at as far as level. And then this slide is San Luis. Current conditions, current storage is about 931,000 acre feet, 46% of total capacity, and right at 54% of historical average. And again, that graph shows the blue line where we're currently tracking. Closer at home, current treatment plant flows for our conventional treatment. Courtsville Water Treatment Plant is currently flowing 10 MGD. That's been pretty consistent for the last 7 days, averaging right around 10 MGD. Roseman Plant is flowing about 3 MGD. And then what we're purchasing or having Palmdale Water District treat for delivery to the Acton service area is about 1.3 MGD for a total of 14.3 MGD being treated through our various treatment plants. As far as geopurification or recovery from our water banks, Eastside Water Bank, we're currently pumping about 1.9 million gallons per day, pretty close to our average 7-day flow. Westside Water Bank is, as you know, split between what flows north towards Mojave and the North Feeder, and what flows south to 80th and H for the interconnection with LA County Waterworks or turnout there. Total is about 10 MGD. And then we are flowing a little bit out of Bench Ranch, located near 80th Street West and Avenue H. And that's about 1.9 million gallons per day for a total about 13.8 MGD recovered from our water banking operation. And as far as putting water back into the ground, obviously we don't have any import water supplies available, but we are flowing a little bit to the Eastside Water Bank just to ensure that we're matching what we're recovering through that project from the recovery wells, and that's about 4 acre feet per day. Operation maintenance updates, groundwater recovery is about 50% of capacity between all the sites. As we just mentioned, AVEK has increased the Eastside Water Bank recharge rate to 28 acre feet per week. That's 4 million gallons per day. And that's matching our recovery rate, as I mentioned. Happy to report that we do have a new electrician that started about a week ago. His name is Devon Watson. Nice young gentleman, and he's very excited to be here at AVEK, and we're happy to have him. So we hope he does a great job for us. We have an RFP out for our chemical treatment, our treatment chemicals that we plan to use for the upcoming fiscal year. So those bids are due the 9th of May, and those will be included in our upcoming fiscal year budget. As far as the Healy Ranch, as you know, we closed escrow on that property, and we have incorporated duties from the Westside Water Bank staff to check that property on a daily basis, kind of make their rounds throughout the property and the buildings, etc. update on water quality, in addition to what Jordan reported earlier. Upcoming task for that department is updating our bacteriological sample siting plan for this year. And we're getting ready to start the second quarter compliance sampling tomorrow. Upcoming events, we do have the AV Watermaster Board meeting scheduled for Wednesday, April 27th at 10 a.m. Via Zoom. So mark that on their calendar if it's not already there. And that's about all I have to report. Unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Matt? Evidently not. Great report, Matt. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 10, are there any director's reports?
Mr. President, this is Director Miller.
Yes.
I wish to report that I did attend the Palmdale Water District meetings last night. They do have a new director for Division 1, Mr. Kellerman. And then in their main meeting, they did implement stage 2 of their water shortage contingency plan. So that's all I have to report.
Very interesting. Thank you. Are there any other director's reports? If not, we'll move along to item 11. Do we have an attorney's report?
Nothing to report, President Dyas.
Okay, thank you. Item 12. Are there any requests for future agenda items? If not, Matt, let me ask you, do we have a reason to go into closed session tonight?
Yes, we do. We have one item. It'll be item 13A.
All right. Do I have a motion to go into closed session for item 13A?
Mr. President, this is Rob. I move we go into closed session for item 13A.
Thank you.
This is Director Miller. I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sorcible,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Holly, would you please begin the transition?
Thank you. One moment. Recording stopped.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, we're back in open session.
Make a motion, somebody.
Where's
The board is now back. The board is now in open session. While in closed session, the board took no reportable action. And now, if there's nothing more to discuss tonight, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. President, this is Rob. I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
This is Director Sourcewell. I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sorcible,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dyas.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Thank you all very much and have a good evening.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Thanks.